Good morning, Councillor Crescent. If you could turn on your camera and test your mic.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Councillor Stephen Holliday. I'm the chair of the Etobicoke York Community Council. We have quorum. I'm now calling meeting number 28 to order. Welcome, everyone, and Happy New Year. Today's meeting is being held by video conference and in person at the Etobicoke Civic Centre in the Council Chamber. This meeting is also being live streamed online at youtube.com/Toronto City Council Live. Although we may be meeting in different locations today, Community Council would like to acknowledge that the land we are meeting on is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples. We also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit. If you're registered to speak at today's meeting, please listen for me to call your name. I will call speakers in the order that they appear on the list. The list of speakers can be viewed online by visiting the Etobicoke York Community Council page at toronto.ca/council and clicking the speakers box for today's meeting. Members, the City Clerk has provided all agenda materials on toronto.ca/council and on CMP, the Clerk's meeting portal. Clerk's IT staff are available to members if you need help with your devices. I also want to remind you to please submit and approve your motions by email. Staff are available at etcc@toronto.ca to help with motions. Are there any declarations of interest under the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act? If you do have an interest, please indicate the item number and the nature of the interest. Seeing none, we will proceed. May I have a motion to confirm the minutes from our meeting on November 26, 2025? Councillor Nunziata moves. All those in favor? Any opposed? That carries. Thank you. We will go through the items. The first item is EY 28.1250, the East Mall Official Plan and Zoning Bylaw Amendment Application, a decision report that will be held for speakers. EY 28.2829, the Queensway Official Plan Amendment and Zoning Bylaw Amendment Application, decision report that will be held for speakers. EY 28.3, agreement to collaborate with Hydro One Network Inc. for construction of the Etobicoke Greenway Trail project. I'm happy to move that with my thanks to staff for preparing the report. This is a good news story. And I see Councillor Morley smiling because she knows that as well and has been supportive of this. So all those in favor, any opposed, and that is carried. EY 28.4216, Cabana Drive, request for a fence exemption to the Toronto Municipal Code, Chapter 447. That will be held for a speaker. EY 28.5, that is 280 Driftwood Avenue, request for a fence exemption to the Toronto Municipal Code, Chapter 447. I will hold that down until Councillor Perruzza either connects or joins us in the chamber. EY 28.6, 2510, Lakeshore Boulevard West, request for a fence exemption to the Toronto Municipal Code, Chapter 447. We have a speaker registered, so that will be held. EY 28.7, application for a clothing drop box location permit located at 2799 Weston Road. That will be held for Councillor Perruzza. EY 28.8, assumption of services, registered plans 66M 2564, 4208, 4210, and 4214 Dundas Street West, 4208 Dundas Developments GP Inc. I will move the staff recommendations. All those in favor? Any opposed? That carries. EY 28.9, assumption of services, registered plan 66M-2552 Kipling Grove Court, Chimney Swift Court, Minto 19 Glen, Agar Inc. I will move the staff recommendations. All those in favor? Any opposed? That carries. EY 28.10, Kipling Grove Court and Chimney Swift Court, parking and traffic regulations. Happy to move the staff recommendations. All those in favor? Any opposed? That carries. EY 28.11, accessible parking spaces, January 2026. Councillor Morley. Deputy Mayor Morley. Deputy Mayor Morley moves the staff recommendations.
Sorry, Mr. Chair, there is just a small amendment from staff, just a technical.
Thank you.
To just move, and then with that, I'm happy to move the staff recommendations.
Certainly. So on the technical amendment, all those in favor? Any opposed? That carries. And on the item, all those in favor? Any opposed? That carries. EY 28.12, Edmund Avenue, 1552 Weston Road, temporary parking amendments. Councillor Nunziata.
I'll move the staff recommendation.
Councillor Nunziata moves the staff recommendations. All those in favor? Any opposed? That carries. EY 28.13, Rotherham Avenue and Westbury Crescent, compulsory stop control. Councillor Nunziata.
Move the staff recommendation.
Councillor Nunziata moves the staff recommendations. All those in favor? Any opposed? That carries. EY 28.14, Whitfield Avenue and Emily Avenue, all-way stop control. This is a Ward 7 item, and I'm going to hold that for Councillor Perruzza. EY 28.15 is the reopening of item EY 21.15-37 Advance Road and 212 to 216 Norseman Street, encroachment agreement. Deputy Mayor Morley.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We will reopen and then move an amendment that's been submitted to clerks.
Okay, to reopen the item, all those in favor? Any opposed? That carries. And on the amendment, all those in favor? Any opposed? That carries. Madam Clerk, is that our final item? Okay, so we will go back up to the top of the list. We will welcome our first speaker to the podium. That is Benjamin Hoff from Urban Strategies, Inc. Welcome to the council chamber, Benjamin. Please begin as soon as you're ready. You have 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members of council. Check, check. So let me make sure my tech is working here. Sorry, maybe a bit slow to start, but yes. Okay, well, jumped ahead. Okay, well, thank you again. My name is Benjamin Hoff, planner and partner at Urban Strategies, and I've had the privilege of advancing this application on behalf of Quadreal and its consultant team now for quite a long time, around 7 or 8 years. And I just want to note right off the bat that the Cloverdale master plan in front of you is alive and well and has not been cancelled. Media outlets confuse the cancellation of the Clove condo building adjacent to the Cloverdale Mall with the broader long-term Cloverdale Mall redevelopment project. So the Cloverdale Mall project will reimagine a community mall into a vibrant mixed-use urban village organized around Cloverdale Square, a retail main street, and new public parks for the community. The redevelopment will deliver over 5,500 dwelling units, over 6 acres of new parks and public spaces, 23,000 square feet of community spaces that will be owned by the City of Toronto, and new retail space to replace the mall and retail uses. And the project balances the phased demolition of the existing mall over time with new development to ensure that key mall tenants, including the Metro grocery store, will continue to operate through the entire redevelopment timeline and will continue to serve the surrounding neighborhood. Now, while you can't read all the minutiae of this very comprehensive project timeline, it illustrates the many workshops and events with city staff that informed the development plan beginning already in 2018. And the 8-year timeline to get to this milestone has been very long but very productive, resulting in a plan that best reflects the priorities of the city, the community, and Quadrille. And it also benefited from extensive engagement with neighbors and the broader public, including early dialogue with the community, beginning with a 2019 pre-application public open house on the site of the Cloverdale Common. And hopefully some of you were able to visit the Cloverdale Common over its long lifetime. And it was key to the success of community engagement, which was a dedicated space to host open houses and workshops for the redevelopment. But the Common was also a place to build community and test ideas for community building and community programming, particularly around the arts. And in addition to project engagement, Cloverdale Common hosted countless activities and events, from art shows to weekly yoga to children's urbanism workshops, such as Mouse City, as you can see here. The master plan has been carefully designed to create a new mixed-use community inspired by Cloverdale Mall's history that provides new housing alongside new community infrastructure. As you see here, the greatest heights and densities are positioned against Dundas and Highway 427. They transition down towards East Mall, where the two new public parks face the East Mall Crescent and the existing neighborhood to the east. The two public parks will provide both active and passive spaces for existing and new residents, and new community spaces secured through CBC contributions, including the city-owned childcare in Phase 1 and a community agency space in Phase 4, are co-located next to the parks. A retail Main Street allows for reimagining of the mall retail, and it will welcome residents and visitors to Cloverdale while creating a more contemporary and urban retail condition with generous space for pedestrians, spill-out patio space, and planting areas. And located in the heart of the community, between the retail Main Street and one of the public parks, Cloverdale Square will be an important place within the development. As a weather-protected space, it will act as an anchor for the new community and an interface between the retail Main Street and new parks and public spaces. And similarly, and adjacent to that, the event terrace will provide further opportunities to provide animating retail, open space, and community agency space next to the park, creating a real synergy and heart within the community. And so I've already elaborated on the many benefits and opportunities that come with the Cloverdale Mall redevelopment. I'll just take this opportunity to thank city staff and all their predecessors that worked hard over the past many years to make this happen, including Vanessa Covello and Alex Teixeira in community planning, Wei Shi and Allison Reed in urban design, Josh Bassett and Alan Filippuzzi in transportation planning, John Baldessera and Sean Wren in engineering, Farad Razmiar and Luigi Nicolucci in transportation service, and I probably missed a bunch, but those were core people that were with us through the time. And I would also like to thank the Deputy Mayor Morley for continuing to push for a transformative project that has the potential to benefit the broader community. But I especially wanted to thank Anno Udo Orak in community planning, whose calm demeanor and patience and fortitude was key to shepherding this application through the process and getting us to where we are today. So thank you all again, and pleased to answer any questions.
Thank you. Are there questions of the speaker? I'm going to ask one. And my question is simple. It's a later phase, but any buildings, and because Ward 2 has many properties that face the 427, it's a later phase, but any buildings, and because Ward 2 has many properties that face the 427, they're subject to a lot of transportation-related noise. So that's from the highway and, of course, the flight path above these buildings. Can you tell me a little bit about your plans to make sure that there are high-quality indoor spaces for the people that will live in these buildings in light of the transportation-related noise and the air pollution that's associated with it?
Yes, so just as a baseline, both noise and vibration impact study and air quality studies have been submitted with the applications, and then peer reviewed as well by a city consultant to ensure that they're solid and the findings were solid. But the intent is to actually design for spaces along that edge that are oriented to the community. And so there's actually a pretty large buffer that's built into that edge of the 427, which includes not only new public streets, but includes what we call the MTO setback, which is lands that MTO could take at any point in time. We actually use those when life gives you lemons, like an MTO setback. We made lemonade and put in a multi-use trail that lines the edge of the site. And so there's a larger buffer from the highway than one would maybe typically see because of how the road and that new edge trail that extends all the way along the edge, that provides a buffer and more of a kind of a community-oriented, a human-oriented space there. And then the buildings themselves are designed to have, with robust noise mitigation along that edge. That will be further detailed in the site plan. But the interesting and the real challenge that we've tried to undertake with the development, and the architects have done a wonderful job of positioning the buildings so that they actually kind of create a safe space within the heart of Cloverdale. And so the buildings actually mitigate some of the noise, the wind conditions, to create a much better condition in the heart of Cloverdale than we have today with that kind of exposure to the highway.
Will you strive for higher quality cladding and windows just to make sure that the people that live in those spaces are protected from especially the aircraft noise? And they're not flying on the north-south today, but if they were, you'd hear it in here.
Yes, yeah, and that will be secured through site plan, so it will be an obligation.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? Seeing none, thank you for joining us. Are there any other speakers on this item? Seeing none, questions of staff on this item? Deputy Mayor Morley, please go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I do have a few questions of staff on this. And would like to just begin with the community benefits aspect of this proposal. Can you summarize what is being secured through the OPA and ZBA for community benefits on the site? And good morning, Anna.
Through the chair, good morning, Councillor. What's being secured is a childcare facility with a minimum interior space of 929 square meters and an associated outdoor play area of 349 square meters. As well, we are securing a community agency space with a minimum size of 465 square meters. Those are the two in-kind contributions to this project.
Great, thank you. The proposal includes 1,120 square meters of community space, but only 465 square meters is being secured in kind. Can you explain the difference here?
Through the chair, thank you, Councillor. So we have limitations because of the CBC amount. And so the CBC amount is able to secure the entire childcare facility and the standard sized community agency space of 465 square meters. So it's a standard size accepted by social development in the city.
Fantastic. My next question is on the affordable housing component, of which there is not one on this site. Typically, when we have a redevelopment of this size, we would hope to see. Can you explain why we don't have it included in this proposal?
Through the chair, during consultations with the community, staff identified that the community preferred to have a childcare facility as well as the community agency space. And I believe the applicants also had extensive consultations with the community. And we also had consultations with the councillor's office. And the community prefers to have the childcare facility and the community agency space.
Thank you. And just to put a finer point on it, there is no mechanism through the current legislation for us to require affordable housing to be included in the site. Is that a fair statement?
This site is not within an MTSA, and so even though it's within Area 3, Market Area 3, we cannot require affordable housing because it's not in an MTSA.
Thank you. I just want to move now to the item with respect to the MTO lands. The applicant spoke to it in his deputation a moment ago, but we know the section of the East Mall which borders that portion for the Edge Trail is not specifically mentioned in the SASC or represented in map 2. Can you talk to us about this trail being a priority for the community, and how can we work to make sure that it is secured in the final delivery of this project?
Through the chair, the MTO setback, there's a proposal for an edge trail within the MTO setback on the western edge of the site and on the southern part of the site. And the report speaks to that in multiple areas. But we cannot secure the setback legally. We can work with MTSA as we go down to the draft plan of subdivision process and the site plan process to finalize the details of the design of the edge trail and make sure that it's delivered.
Okay. I just have 2 more quick ones. I'm going to squeeze them both in if I can before my 5 minutes is up. The first one is just with respect to pedestrian safety along the East Mall itself, which borders the site, and we know has been identified with high vehicle speeds and other safety concerns. So if you could just highlight briefly for us how pedestrian safety along the East Mall is intended to improve through this project. And then the last question is just whether community planning or any other of our internal or external commenting partners have remaining concerns with this application.
Through the chair, thank you, Councillor, for the question. So there are multiple pedestrian walkways across the East Mall that connect the neighborhood on the east to the proposed development, and also along the edges of the East Mall and Dundas Street West. The pedestrian walkways are being widened to the standard 2.1 meters, which will make it very comfortable for pedestrians to walk around. It will be safer, a safer environment for them. And in respect of the, I should also mention that there are 3 proposed new streets within the development, and they all have sidewalks of 2.1 meters minimum. In respect of other partners, we worked very closely with the GTAA, that's the Greater Toronto Airport Authority, to make sure that the heights of the buildings were okay. And we also worked very closely with the Ministry of Transportation in respect of the North-South Link Road to make sure that the proposal is acceptable to them.
Thank you very much. Those are all my questions. Thank you, Mr. Chair, for the extra time.
Thank you. Are there further questions on this item? Councillor Nunziata.
Yeah, just a question on the childcare in the community space. So would the childcare center be run by the city in the community space? Is it going to be a city-run childcare?
Through the chair, those details are coming in the in-kind contribution agreements, but it could be run by the city, but the details are coming later on.
Oh, okay. And then even the community space that you mentioned. So we even though it's given to the city, we don't know if it's going to be run by the city. Just a question.
Through the chair, my understanding is that the daycare, when the daycares are conveyed to the city through the CBC, it will be a city-run daycare.
Will be
And then
city
the
run.
remaining, there are some details that need to be sorted out as we move through the process, but the city will retain control and operation. of it.
Okay, and then even the community space that they're giving, right? That would be a city facility,
That's my
right?
understanding. Yeah, if
Yeah.
it's through CBC.
Yeah,
Until plans change
Okay.
and we do it different.
okay, thank you.
Okay, I had a question. The mall is really important to the community. This is a place where people go not just to shop, and I include myself and my family there, but just as a place to go to a warm indoor space on a day like today, where you can be social with others. Could you tell me a little bit more about the phasing? I know it came up and it's in the report, but what can the community expect to experience? And this is really big, so this is not going to happen in overnight or in a year. Could you tell me a little bit more about, if the applicant moves forward at full speed, what the community can expect?
Through the chair, it's very important to the community that the mall, some portions of the mall remain open during construction, particularly the grocery store. And it's the way the phasing is proposed, the grocery store will remain open. And at some point, the grocery store is proposed to move into the ground floor of a completed phase 2, I believe. And so the community will have access to the portions of the mall that are not demolished, particularly the grocery store.
Could you elaborate a little bit about the way that it's going to unfold? I see something here, it's suggesting it starts from the north and it works its way south.
Through the chair, thank you for the question. So phase 1 of the development will consist of blocks 1, 2, and 3, and streets A1 and B1. And phase 2 will consist of block 4 and streets B2 to provide access and servicing for block 4. Phase 3 would consist of blocks 5 and 6, streets A and streets B and street C. And phase 4 would consist of blocks 7, 8, and 9, which would be serviced from street C. And through these 4 phases of development, as outlined on page 2 of the report, the proposed phasing would allow for the continuous operations of portions of the mall, including the grocery store during construction. It's on page 2 of the report.
Thank you. Are there any further questions on this item? Seeing none, members of council wishing to speak? We may have lost connection to Deputy Mayor Morley. Members, I'm going to suggest we hold this item as it is a development in Deputy Mayor Morley's ward, and she was on the screen a moment ago, and we may have lost her connection. So we'll do that. We'll do that briefly, and if not, we'll come back to it as a committee and deal with the matter.
Mr. Chair, sorry.
Councillor Crescenti, did you want to speak or ask questions?
I did have a couple of questions since
Sure.
we're waiting for Councillor Morty. Just very briefly, if I may, I'm sorry
Yep.
to.
You just give the staff a moment to come back up.
Yes, I know, I saw that. So.
Go ahead, Councillor.
In this development, I understand there's like over 5,500 total units. Would that be the correct number?
Through the chair, that's correct.
And can you identify what these units are made up of? Are they all condominiums? Will there be any purpose-built rental opportunities in this development?
Through the chair, for now, we understand it's going to be condominium units, no purpose-built rental.
Sorry, you're saying they're going to be 100% condominium units right across the board?
Through the chair, that's correct.
All right, no discussion about potential rental buildings in this development.
Through the chair, this site is not within an MTSA, even though it's within Area 3. So it's not mandatory. We cannot require.
You cannot
that.
require it.
Yes.
That's what I figured. All right, that was what I needed clarified, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Members wishing to speak on this item. Deputy Mayor Morley, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, colleagues. Apologies, I'm having just a little bit of technical challenges, so I did drop off. Hopefully, I'm good to get through the remainder of the meeting. But I did just want to acknowledge the importance of this site. As I was falling off there, I did hear Chair Holliday speaking about this as a gathering space and as a really important center for the local area, certainly for seniors to come together. And we know through the comments and through other efforts of this applicant, they themselves have really honored and seen the value and importance of the space in that way, and are working through their phasing and other plans to maintain that, including with the community space once the project is delivered. I did want to also acknowledge the challenges of building complete communities with the current Planning Act and the policies from the province. My colleague, Councillor Crescent, was just talking about the housing typology and the mix of housing, and we really are limited at this time as a city to require specific types of housing on particular sites. And so we do acknowledge that with the hopes that the proposal does still play an important role in missing middle and other housing that is really desperately needed across the city. We want to acknowledge the work of staff and ENO, and I know that was an acknowledgement of the applicant as well. It's been an 8-year process and lots of community touch points along the way. I think the lack of speakers here today on this item is an indication of really the due diligence having been done in the local community to share information, to answer questions, and to ensure that people understand what is before them. We will continue to work closely with staff on this and on the conversations with MTO, as we want to ensure that that edge trail is in fact secured and is something that we can point to and look forward to as a community. But with that, I will be moving the staff recommendations on this, and with thanks to colleagues.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Anyone else wishing to speak? I'll just make a brief comment myself. I want to acknowledge as well the hard work done by the applicant, the Toronto Public Service, the Planning Department, and of course Deputy Mayor Morley's office. Ward 2 is very close to this edge, but as I mentioned in my question, it's a place with a deep connection to my family and many others in the community. And it is really a community place. And I want to notice that the applicant has done a number of things, including creating the common space that's been enjoyed by the broader community. And I want to encourage the applicant to continue to make choices that are in the interest of the community. This is a really big decision. This is a very difficult one for the community, not just because of the planning aspects to it and the addition of so many new homes in the area, but also the loss of an important place. And many of these finer decisions that will occur over the next number of years will make the difference between a project that has a negative view of the community or a positive view of the community, as difficult as the loss of the plaza is. And so things like this trail matter, things like the allocation of the community space, the creation of outdoor areas, the programming that goes on, all of that matters. And I think that really creates a legacy going forward. So I will just offer that encouragement to know that this is a place that's important for Etobicoke, and it will continue to be important given all of the right choices are made in time. So thank you to everyone. Okay. On the item, all those in favor, any opposed, that item is carried. Thank you, everybody. The next item is EY 28.2, which is 829 the Queensway, official plan amendment and zoning bylaw amendment application and decision report. We have 2 speakers registered. Our first speaker is Joe Hoffman from Goodman's on behalf of Costco Wholesale Canada Limited. Is Joe with us in the chamber or online?
Good morning, members of council. I'm here online.
Good morning. Welcome to Community Council. If I can just get you to speak loud and clear into the mic, because you're a little bit quiet here, but go ahead as soon as you're ready.
Thank you. And if I'm not loud enough, please interrupt me.
Much better.
Right. Joe Hoffman. I'm a lawyer at Goodman's LLP, and I'm here on behalf of Costco Wholesale Canada Limited. Costco is the owner and operator of the long-standing Costco retail warehouse in Gaspar that's located at 50 Queen Elizabeth Boulevard, and it's directly abutting the subject site at 829 the Queensway. Costco is a major commercial employer and a regional retail destination that has operated at this site for 30 years. The warehouse is about 130,000 square feet and employs roughly 480 people. Daily operations include high customer volumes, frequent truck deliveries, and regular queues at the gas bar. And these are activities that necessarily generate ongoing noise and emissions, typical of a large format commercial use. Costco supports thoughtful residential intensification where it's compatible with adjacent commercial employment operations, but give it the immediate adjacency to the high activity warehouse, the gas bar, the parking fields, the loading areas. It's important that robust, secured mitigation measures are implemented. And they're intended to do two things. One, it's to avoid constraining Costco's lawful, long-standing operations, but just as importantly, it's to protect residents from potential adverse effects that may find a home at 829 the Queensway in the future. It's in no one's interest to approve a building next to the Costco retail and gas bar where in the future there could be a litany of unhappy residents and complaints. So to guard against this, it's Costco's view that compatibility must be secured through an agreement between Costco and the abutting owner that addresses compatibility through noise and odor mitigation measures. And this agreement must be entered into now before the planning approvals of this application are secured and not pushed to a later date, for example, through site plan, because that's the city's ability to secure these types of measures through site plan are much more limited. Now, I am here with good news. Costco and the applicant have actively been working together to finalize an agreement to secure these necessary mitigation measures. And on that note, I want to thank the applicant through their counsel and Mr. McKay, their planning consultant, who I believe is speaking after me. The applicant has engaged Costco, indicated an openness to enter into the agreement, and we're optimistic that an agreement will be entered into soon. That said, while discussions have been constructive, the agreement's not yet finalized. So Costco's intention is to complete with the applicant the agreement prior to the City Council meeting on February 4th. But until the agreement is executed and the mitigation measures are secured, approval of the planning applications are premature. And if the agreement is, for whatever reason, and we hope this isn't the case, we don't expect this to be the case, but if it's not executed by the February City Council meeting, Costco will be requesting a deferral of the proposed development at that time until the necessary mitigation measures are in fact secured. So with this background, what we are asking from Community Council today is if Community Council decides to bring the item forward to the February 4th City Council meeting, it do so without recommendations. And this will allow more time to finalize and execute the agreement to secure compatibility between the Costco site and the proposed development. And there should be no recommendations in support of the proposal until the agreement is executed and the mitigation measures are secured. That's Costco's request. Those are my submissions today, and subject to any questions, thank you for taking the time to listen to me speak. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there questions of the applicant? I see that from Deputy Mayor Morley. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good morning, Joe. Nice to meet you. Thank you for your submission here today. I'm just wondering if you've been in touch at all with my office, because I haven't personally been made aware, but I'm just curious if you all have looked us into this request. Question one, and then secondarily, you mentioned that you are in touch with the applicant, which is great. I'm glad. Sounds like those conversations have been fruitful and are moving forward. Is the planner on this file looked into those conversations as well?
Through you, Mr. Chair, we have been in touch with the applicant, but we've also been in touch frequently with planning staff. And so we started this process at the very beginning. We attended the community consultation meeting. We reached out to planning staff right away. We wrote a letter to planning staff advising of Costco's concerns. We initially asked that the application not go ahead to this community council meeting to allow more time for the applicant and Costco to reach an agreement. Planning staff, despite our recommendation, decided that they wanted to bring the report forward. So what we're doing with that is working within the timelines that would best suit the applicant, as well as planning staff, to use the next couple weeks before the February 4th City Council meeting to try to finalize the arrangement. But we have been in touch with the city. If for whatever reasons discussions go sideways, and again, I don't expect that to be the case, you can anticipate that Costco will be directly in contact with your office to discuss options, because this is a very important matter for Costco. Costco is a very important use for the area. But again, we've had constructive conversations to date, and we're optimistic that they'll continue.
Thanks, Joe. I appreciate that. And I will put some questions forward to staff as well at the next opportunity. But thank you so much again. That's all from Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Are there any other questions? I had a couple. Mr. Hoffman, I just want to confirm, you submitted a letter yesterday afternoon, right?
That's Mr. Chair, that's correct. So we submitted a letter yesterday afternoon to this community council meeting. Many weeks ago, we submitted a letter to city planning as well, outlining our concerns on the proposal.
Okay, and you're aware that the city planning would have filed their report several weeks ago for this agenda item?
Absolutely. We have reached out to city planning well before they finalized their report.
Okay, and can you tell me just a little bit, in tangible measures, what Costco is looking for with respect to mitigations? I'm aware of the site. I know it well. You said noise and odor, but what are you looking for?
Absolutely. So we work on sites like this all the time on behalf of Costco and other commercial uses, and it's not uncommon for residential development to pop up near commercial uses. So often standard mitigation measures may include ensuring that windows are of a certain standard to avoid noise from penetrating into the buildings, that the walls of the buildings, especially most adjacent to the commercial uses, are a certain standard, that all units have central air conditioning so windows can remain closed. So that it can better protect residents against noise. Warning clauses for potential purchasers or tenants that give them a heads up that there's a large-scale commercial use next to them, and they may hear noise in their outdoor amenity space, for example. Given the immediacy of the Costco gas bar next to 829 the Queensway, there's also certain filters that can be introduced into the building to ensure that odor doesn't penetrate into the building. These are the types of mitigation measures that we would like to see secured. We're worried that if the planning applications are approved before these mitigation measures are secured, the city doesn't have the authority to implement them at site plan, which is why we're raising them now. So that I think is a good high-level outline of the types of mitigation measures that we think would be appropriate for this site.
Okay, and so the list I heard sounds to me as fairly routine things as opposed to exotic measures. Is that fair?
Mr. Chair, that's how I would categorize them.
Thank you, that's helpful. Other questions of the speaker? Seeing none, thank you for joining us. Our next speaker is David Mackay from MHBC. Welcome to Community Council, David. You have 5 minutes. Please go ahead.
Good morning and Happy New Year. Thank you very much. First of all, I'd like to thank staff. We've been working with them diligently over the last number of months, as well as Councillor Morley's staff on this application to bring forward 332 new residential units to the Queensway. As council knows, this site is designated mixed use primarily and on an avenue. So the principle of residential use on the property is well established. And we recognize and have been working with Costco relative to compatibility matters. And through the process, we've provided noise studies, odor studies, and whatnot. Those have been reviewed by staff, and we've agreed to mitigation measures to be incorporated into the building as identified by Mr. Hoffman, including the necessary upgraded windows, the facades, warning clauses, air conditioning, scrubber units in the and whatnot. All of the standard items that occur when you have uses that are not incompatible but have compatibility issues, which is called for by the official plan to study. And we've done that, and staff recognize that through the application. And as Mr. Hoffman had mentioned, we have been working diligently with them. Unfortunately, we only got the agreement they'd like us to sign, our client to sign, in the late holiday season. So that is under review, but we are anticipating that will be signed by the end of this month, well before council proceeds with the adoption of the bylaw. With that, I would ask that council proceed with the staff recommendation, and we will agree to continue to work with staff as well as as Costco to get this agreement in place before the February council meeting. I'd be happy to answer any questions that council may have. Thank you.
Questions of the speaker? Seeing none, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Questions of staff? Deputy Mayor Morley, go ahead. Actually, just wait 1 moment. We'll just let the staff get up into position.
Thank you. I actually have a question of the clerk, Mr. Chair, to start, if I may.
Absolutely, Madam Clerk. Is it a procedure question, or is it?
Yes, just wanting to understand. Thank you, Mr. Chair, through you, and good morning, Nancy. Just wanting to understand whether or not we could move staff recommendations with an amendment of the securing of the agreement with Costco in advance of February 4th. Like, could that be an amendment that we move along with the staff recommendations this morning?
So you want to give instructions to staff to do certain amount of work prior to the council meeting?
Essentially, it's just to say that moving staff recommendations pending confirmation of this agreement by the February 4th council date.
I'm going to need to confer with city planning and how that works. You
Okay.
could certainly give instructions to staff and have a report back to city council. I'm not sure about your particular instructions, so if we could hold on just a little bit.
Yep, no worries. I will redirect that one over to Daniel. Good morning, Daniel.
Okay.
Through the chair, just wanting to understand in our couple of briefings on this file, we hadn't heard about the Costco agreement or concerns. Can you just provide a little bit more context and color to that, as well as the status from your perspective as to securing that between now and council in February?
Thank you for the question through the chair. So through the development application process, Costco has participated in the consultation process. So they did attend the community meeting. No questions or issues were raised in that community meeting. I think it was more of a listening exercise for Costco at that time. We didn't receive any direct issues, list of issues through after the community consultation process. We did know that Costco's operations were important to ensure that this building was accounting for potential noise issues that could arise from the business and surrounding areas as well. We got to a point where city staff was comfortable with the applicant's proposal and all of the mitigation measures that were shown on the plans that we were accounting for in the bylaw. And we felt as though the application was ready to be brought forward. After public notice was issued, we did get a more detailed letter from Costco with more lists of issues that they either still had or wanted to put on the record. After that was provided to city staff and the applicant was made aware of it, the applicant continued to engage with Costco to make sure that both parties could agree to what would be an acceptable sort of form of amount of mitigations in which we feel comfortable has been provided to this point and would be secured at site plan control. And also to say we did get the letter yesterday afternoon, which it is late, but notwithstanding that, we do feel confident that the two parties are collaboratively working together to reach that agreement before City Council in February.
Okay, that's really helpful. Thank you. And now that it's on my radar, I'm have been noting with my team, and we will make sure to follow up as best as we can to secure that through the council process. I do want to just ask a couple of quick ones. There is a holding provision in the zoning bylaw on the site. Can you talk to us what the process and conditions are for it to be lifted?
Through the chair, and if we need my colleague from development engineering to assist, we could bring engineering up. But that holding provision is in there because the applicant still needs to provide development engineering with a bit more information related to capacity within the city's sewer system. Some more reports need to be provided. If it turns out that there needs to be upgrades to municipal infrastructure, then that holding provision secures the process for that to occur. So with some more information regarding servicing infrastructure, the holding provision is there for that reason. It's not related to additional mitigation measures from the building or for the building.
Thank you. My next question is just with respect to parkland provision. We know this area of the south on the Queensway has a low parkland provision ratio by our official plan map and the official map. Why are we accepting cash in lieu of parkland contribution, and how will we address the parkland need as development continues along the south side of this avenue?
Through the chair, I'll pass it to my colleague Marika from Parks.
Good morning to the chair. This application did not require enough parking dedication to be provided on site, so that's why cash in lieu is being provided. It's not generating enough. Yeah.
Great. And we can work together to ensure that that cash in lieu is appropriately directed within the local community. Is that
yeah, that's possible for sure.
Fantastic. Great. Those are all my questions for staff, Mr. Chair. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I wanted to go over something I heard. Are there any other questions? I just want to ask this question as well. So Costco's come forward and said they have concerns with odor and noise, but they're not unique. There's other businesses around this site. There's other restaurants around this site. When does it stop being a private matter between two property owners and start becoming a planning matter to make sure that you've got healthy spaces for the new occupants of the building? And how did we deal with that in this report? Like there's a threshold, there's a floor, and if somebody wants to go above that, let them do it. Great, but what are we doing to protect the public?
Through the chair, thank you for the question, and perhaps my director will fill in with some more information. Community planning has asked for an extensive list of studies through the application review process. So we did receive a compatibility mitigation study. We did get a noise impact study as well. All applications along the Queensway that are around employment areas, it's very common to see these studies submitted. Planning gets these studies peer reviewed by a third-party consultant to ensure that the proposed development is compatible with the surrounding uses, and the surrounding uses do not impose negative impacts on the proposed development. So through that process, planning secures what we feel as though are satisfactory mitigation measures. We can secure certain things through a bylaw, and we can secure the larger amount of these mitigation measures through the site plan control process. Planning is satisfied with what's been proposed. When it becomes more of a dispute between the two parties, if my director has anything else to add there, I'm not sure where that line necessarily is, but planning is satisfied with what we have seen so far.
Yeah, through the chair, the official plan requires certain noise, vibration, odor mitigation when building residential uses close to non-residential, particularly industrial or employment. And that's typically how we regulate those. We do not usually require applicants to enter into private agreements with each other because we don't have any control over those agreements in terms of the content and whether or not they will be signed. So our official plan provides a mechanism for us to deal with that through those studies, and then we have them peer reviewed. So that's our typical process.
So the list of upgrades or implementations or mitigations, I guess was the word, proposed, AC units, cladding, that sort of thing. Those are all to the benefit of the future residents. Like they're pluses, are they not? So is there a way for us to encourage that? It ultimately ends up as a higher quality living space, because the issues to me seem to transcend just the particular closest site, which is Costco, who happen to have a lawyer here today. Is there a way to encourage that along?
Through the chair, that has been shown through the compatibility study and noise study that these things are recommended to be provided. We agree with that recommendation from the applicant's consultant report and through the peer review process, and staff secure these enhanced materiality things through site plan control. Other things like a noise acoustic wall is also required and proposed by the applicant, and that does benefit both the external parties surrounding the site and the residents on site as well.
Okay, and then I guess the final comment is, today we're not making a zoning decision, we're providing a recommendation to City Council. Is that correct? This isn't the final stop.
Through the chair, that's correct.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Perruzza.
So we require folks to do compatibility studies. What does a compatibility study typically look at?
Through the
What
chair,
does it say?
the compatibility study will do a scan of the surrounding uses surrounding the property. So in many cases, in parts of Etobicoke, there's employment uses close by to residential uses. So we'll look at heavy industrial uses, light industrial uses, to see if there are adverse noise impacts, dust, odor generating or emitting from those surrounding uses.
So compatibility is different than noise, or are they like the same study, or are they separate studies?
Through the chair, all of those are included in the compatibility study. It does look at noise, air quality, odor. There is a separate, more detailed study that is noise.
Built form, does it look at built form too?
The study will through the chair, the study looks at the surrounding buildings, but we'll look for noise emitting from surrounding buildings. So external air conditioning units, mechanical penthouses, those could be attached to buildings. So we'll look at that.
So we ask people to do compatibility studies, and okay, so it looks at those kinds of things: noise, pollution, other proximity type issues. Then what do we do with that?
Through the chair,
Other than having a study that says, okay, you're locating residential here next to employment, industrial. There's lots of noise. There's lots of bad odors. There's lots of heavy truck traffic. There's lots of, tension and friction issues between industrial operations and residential living, moms with strollers walking around a sidewalk where heavy trucks with trailers are coming by, right? So now you have a study that looks at all of that. Then what would we do with it?
Through the chair, and I'll say this is very common across all parts of the city. And the Queensway already has a large amount of residential buildings located on the Queensway, located nearby employment areas. But we'll see what the recommendations come from that consultant's report.
The image always in my brain is Tor York, up at Weston and Finch, where the former Tony's Ballroom now will be like a heavy residential neighborhood right next to a dump site across from, a big, a truck storage facility, and basically, 50 meters from a dead end street and with big trucks blocking the driveway. And I'm just, so now you got the study, and then what do you do with this? You say, okay, this is like not ideal, and then what? And then we just say, approve like 35-story buildings next to it. Too bad, so sad. You're on your own.
Through the chair, we're looking for a positive indication that what is proposed can adequately mitigate any potential issues in the surrounding areas. So we often see things like noise walls, updated windows and building materiality, air conditioning units, more filters within the building. So we're aware of those recommendations, and if staff are agreeable to that, or we agree with those recommendations, as well as getting a peer review, then we will secure what we can, or we will secure those mitigation measures through the development process to ensure.
So because, you know, I struggle with this stuff, right? I understand what you say. So we require these people to do these really expensive studies. And for example, I look at my area again, along the 400. It used to be a former workers' compensation site, was approved for residential development, just on, you know, I don't know, 15 meters from, you know, Highway 400, right? Front doors, front windows, all the rest of it. I know I've been at those front doors where the noise from the highway is deafening. You know, the asbestos from the brakes, you see it, the silt on people's tables, right? You could wipe your finger and kind of like, it comes off black, off their kitchen table, you know, a table that just, you know, got cleaned an hour earlier, right? So you get these folks to do these like great studies, and then you allow for this development where people are now living in atrocious conditions, right? The people that buy into those things. What's the point in asking for those studies if we don't do anything real with those studies?
Through the chair, we do use those studies to ensure that the building is compatible.
Would you buy a house on the 400 there across the street from Highway 400, one of those townhouses? No, I know. I just, yeah, you use them. But what I'm saying to you is, like, if you're going to ask for them, right, like, use them for real, right? Figure out a way to use them. Otherwise, don't ask for them to be done. They just make the cost of housing more expensive for everybody. And people are just being required to live in, you know, abysmal conditions in some of these projects where you have this conflict in uses, right? That's all I got to say on that.
Thank you.
Thank you for the questions.
Councillor Nunziata.
Question on that. This is getting actually kind of funny here. Would it not be in the best interest of the owner to put in all these conditions and windows and air conditioning and that, because people would not move in? Why would residents want to move into a building if they have all these issues? I remember when the stockyards, Canada Packers, was redeveloped and we had the slaughterhouses and that. There were conditions put on when residents moved in on their lease, is that these are happening, so you're aware that when you move in, there are these issues surrounding the building. So shouldn't it be the best interest of the owner to make sure that all these are implemented? Otherwise, financially, how would they be able to sell these units or have residents move in? Just a question. Do you not believe that?
Through the chair, I would fully agree with that. It is in their interest. And also with the city, we've reviewed what's been proposed, and all of those mitigation measures are shown. And yeah, it's in the interest.
I'm not sure you can manage those things through
No.
That's all building code stuff.
Okay. Do you know when the stockyards where Canada Packers was redeveloped years ago, right? And people moved in and they were slaughtering animals next to, and these residents knew that they were buying a home near the slaughterhouses, right? So they knew that. And that's what we said. You knew where you were buying. You knew where you were moving into. So it's the responsibility of the owner. Anyway, I just want to make that comment because this is kind of getting way out there right now.
Thank you. Any other questions? I think we've used all our time. At the beginning of the questions, Councillor Morley asked the clerk a technical question about the ability for community council to put a condition on the approval on its way to council. I think that there's a response to that. May I ask the solicitor to provide that answer?
Yes, thank you, and through you, Mr. Chair. It can be done. The practical consequence of doing so has already been alluded to, in that it's a private agreement between two private parties. So it would potentially tie council's hands to make a decision if the agreement is not signed by the time council occurs. And we, of course, have no control over when the agreement would be signed, because both parties would have to sign it.
Okay, so if those parties sign that agreement before council, they could send a letter and say that that's been done? And council would have that information before them if they chose to disclose it?
That could occur, and I assume, Mr. Chairman, that if the agreement was signed before council, then the parties would communicate that, yes.
If not, city council has to look at this with fresh eyes, and we can't predict that decision.
Through you, Mr. Chair, I apologize. Could you? I'm not sure I understand.
Well, just to be clear, I asked that before. Today's approval at community council is a recommendation to city council, and city council will have the benefit of all the information at the time when it makes the decision as to what it will do with this item.
That's correct, Mr.
Fair enough. Thank you. Members wishing to speak. Deputy Mayor Morley, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you for the support and that clarification from clerks and legal. It does.
Sorry, I'm sorry, Deputy Mayor Morley. Could you just hold on a moment? Councillor Perruzza, I think, has a second round of questions.
No. I just.
Microphone.
I listened really.
Microphone.
I listened really attentively and trying to understand both the question and the answer, and I'm still fuzzy on sort of both. I think the question was that this is so we are simply recommending a course of action or report a course of action to City Council, which at that point can follow our course of action or do something entirely different, at council and in part. And the imposition of a condition here is just simply, considered in that light. And then the answer was something that said that if the applicant and the city agree to a condition or a course of action, I believe that that's real, right? And everything else, and then is just subject to conversation, right? But I'm not sure that that's what I heard, right? That was the answer. And maybe if you could just, I don't know, dumb it down for me, please.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, Councillor, the question that was put to me was whether or not a condition of the execution of the agreement between the applicant and its neighbor, a third party, can be imposed at this stage. That was the first question. And the answer I gave was, as a practical matter, it can be done. The consequences of doing it is that if it's provided as a condition and the agreement is not signed, then that would put council in a position where they may not, if those are the conditions before them, be able to take action on this item at council. Following that answer, the chairman put a subsequent question before me, which was to clarify/confirm that the ultimate decision on the planning applications that are the subject of this report are not being made today at community council, but are being made at council. And my answer to that was in the affirmative, that is the case.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Morley to speak. Or did you have a question?
Oh, no more questions.
Thank you. Go ahead.
To move us forward. Thank you so much, colleagues, as always, for your interest on this one as well. I did want to go ahead and move the staff recommendations at this time, with thanks to the deputants here today and with acknowledgement of the representatives from Costco about the important work that they have advocated. And it sounds very much like both planning staff and the applicant are on side and are moving forward with the provisions that would make the accommodations happen with respect to compatibility next to a very important employer and site in our ward. Of course, Costco is a big site that we would not want to compromise the operational capacity there or make any issues in terms of compatibility with future neighbors. But I do think that it is there is enough time, and I have confidence, and we've gotten confirmation both from both private entities, including Costco and the applicant, that this work is well underway. The draft agreement has been delivered, and they have a number of weeks to continue to work through to get to yes on that and to advise community planning and council accordingly. There is also an opportunity at council to defer the item if that work is not in fact concluded, if we need to go there. And so I would encourage again the representative from Costco to be in touch with my office so we can appropriately coordinate. But at this time, as I say, with thanks to staff for their diligence on this, we will be moving forward with the recommendation to approve. And just with a note I mentioned in my question earlier, but really the park land provision in this area, the Queensway, which continues to be under significant growth pressures, is something that we're watching closely and really trying to pay attention to and find some solutions to as well. On a site of this size, as we heard, there's not enough space to include much green space, but we know that existing residents as well as new residents coming to our neighborhood really need and deserve appropriate green spaces along with complete communities. And so we will continue to do our work to secure and ensure that that is the case. I will leave it there, Mr. Chair. Thank you again so much, and I'll turn it back over to you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak? Seeing none, Deputy Mayor Morley moves the staff recommendations. All those in favor? Any opposed? That item carries. Our next item is EY 28.4, 216-216, Cabana Drive, request for a fence exemption of the Toronto Municipal Code, Chapter 447. We do have a speaker. That is Laura Faita. Good morning, Laura. Welcome to Community Council. You have 5 minutes. Please begin as soon as you're ready.
Okay, good morning, City Council. My name is Laura Faita. I am Vittorio and Fiorella daughter, and it's in regards to 216 Cabana fence exemption. We put up a fence in regards to our safety, in regards to the back neighbor.
Do you have a photo on there?
I do.
We'll get the staff to turn the video on for us. There we go.
Oh, there we
Thank
go.
you.
So we had originally a 3-foot fence with the neighbor in the back that has a pit bull about 150 pounds, 3 foot tall. Is very easily for that dog to jump over while my parents were gardening. So we were in fear of this particular dog. He also does strange gestures, which makes us very uncomfortable with my children at home. He stands behind the back of his shed, which causes us to be very uncomfortable. We also have other issues with the other side of the property line, where the left side 214 Cabana, who assaulted my parents and my son with rocks, and the police ordered them to put up a fence, so they did. So in regards to the peekaboo that he has at the back corner, we had to put a partitional fence just to block them every 5 minutes, starting trouble and profanities and all sorts of things that caused us to be very uncomfortable when we were in the backyard with our barbecuing or doing whatever activities in our yard. Every time we would come outside, they would yell profanities. He does have a 5,000 water, a pool, in the sense that he releases this water onto our side, which causes a lot of problems. And then we have the additional side of the other side of where we put the fence, where they have encroached on our roof by a foot, which that is now in court. So we are, all of them are asking for a foot. I don't know why. So they cause us great aggravation. So the fence did go up for our protection and security for me, my children, and my elderly parents. This is what it looks like now without the chain link fence. We don't need to look at the bulldog anymore, nor the busybody neighbors that cause such I guess, fear, anxiety, and whatnot. So that's why
Thank you.
we're asking for a fence exemption.
Thank you. Are there any questions of the speaker? Seeing none, thank you for joining us today. Are there any other speakers on this item? Seeing none, questions of staff. Councillor Perruzza.
Just describe this for me. So I'm looking at the photographs of the fence, and we wouldn't have to be dealing with an exemption because I'm looking at your arrows here and trying to understand it. But for this little portion of the fence that exceeds the 2 meters by 0.16, correct? Is that it? Is that where, like, we're here?
Good morning, Mr. Chair, and through Mr. Chair, yes, that's correct.
Okay.
That's
And
that section over
so
there.
0.16, what does that translate into, like, into inches? 3, 4, 5 inches, 6 inches? What?
I can do the conversion for you right now.
It sounds like it's what? It's a fraction of a foot, right?
That's correct.
Yeah. Because I don't know, if I were to look over at Councillor Nziada here and say, point out 0.16 to me in meters, like, how much is that? Where would you put your hand above the table? Okay.
It's about 6 inches.
6 inches, okay. So, and that 6 inches, how long does that run for? It looks like it runs for just one panel, correct?
Through Mr. Chair, yes, just the rear.
Just that one panel there, right?
Correct.
Okay, all right. And that's really the only infraction that we're talking about here, right?
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's good, Mr. Chair. So I'm good.
Thank you. Any other questions of staff? Seeing none, to speak, Councillor Perruzza.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I'm going to move that the exemption be allowed, be permitted. I don't know if it's just a question of alter the word refuse to permit. Would that be the appropriate way to do it, Nancy? Oh, there it is. Okay, so that's what I would move. I would move that that be permitted. Okay.
Councillor Perruzza moves an alternate recommendation to grant a fence exemption to permit the property owner at 216 Cabana Drive, and that at such time as replacement of the fence is required, the installation comply with Municipal Code Chapter 447 fences or its successor bylaw. All those in favor? Any opposed? That carries. Thank you. Our next item is EY 28.6. Nope. My apologies. Let's get back here.
Yeah, it is 6.
No, it's 5. It's 28.5, EY 28.5, 280 Driftwood Avenue. Request for a fence exemption to the Toronto Municipal Code, Chapter 447. There are no registered speakers, so that is questions of staff.
So, Mr. Chair, just to sort of, the long and the short of this, I just need to, because I'm looking at it, need to sort of understand it a little better. So I'd like to move just a deferral of this for 2 rounds to better understand and have a chat with this person here and see what it is that they're looking at.
Okay, they're just adjusting your motion here.
Sure.
Councillor Perruzza is deferring that item to March 31st, 2 meetings from now. Madam Clerk, you just let me know when you're ready.
Why March and not February?
Councillor Perruzza is moving deferral to the March 31st meeting of EYCC. All those in favor? Any opposed? That carries. Our next item is EY 28.6, 2510 Lakeshore Boulevard West. Request for a fence exemption, Toronto Municipal Code, Chapter 447. We do have a registered speaker, and that is Niall Murphy. Good morning, Niall. Welcome to the Etobicoke York Community Council.
Good morning.
You have 5 minutes. Please proceed.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and council members. just a minute.
Okay, I'll just pause your time.
Thanks.
Your mic is on.
I'm just going to take you through very quickly, if I could, the email I presented. It's on file, and what I'll try to do is just kind of give you some pictorial view of what we're talking about. And so, our property, 2510, is a house. It's a simple house, and there it is there on the left. And on the right, you'll see a multi-story new building built during the COVID time. And, it used to be a house exactly like mine. And the walkway up to the house, the side entrance, there was one directly across. So, the lady that lived there before, her name was Betty, and she was like 96 or something like that, and everybody in the world got along. Anyway, I was out of country when this was built, on assignment with my company during COVID, and this building took place. Now, I have no objection to the requirement of additional housing for the city. That's not my issue. What is my issue is in the planning documents originally, and I'm just going to go back down to the bottom of and I know you may not be able to see it very well, but basically you'll see this piece. So what you'll see is our two properties here. This is my doorway, my hall door, and this was what the proposed doorway was supposed to be, where it was supposed to be, and where I believe that was what the original plan was. And so obviously when I returned, I find that the door, I'm really not very dexterous sometimes with the computer, but I'll try, ended up, as you can see here. So first of all, it's not an inset door. It's in line with this is my neighbor I'm talking about. It's flush with the wall, which necessitates basically almost a five-step stairwell. It's a five-step stairwell, double-sided. You can see that the stairwell takes up his full path width pretty well. And so when the people are standing there, they're looking right into my living room, dining room. I mean, it's like as if they've got a ladder against my fence. And so it, to me, is it's a huge invasion. On top of that, I have to deal with this camera, which I know the city doesn't have a lot of rules around cameras, I believe, and this overhead light here. So in order to regain our privacy, we built, and I'm seeking permission, of this privacy fence, which is located inside my property. And I apologize, I'm just trying to give you some background to it. There it is here. And it is basically to stop people congregating on top of the stairwell, which they will. And that's delivery people, everybody. Because what are they going to do? They're going to stand there. It's not really an official entryway. They stand there, and then they turn around and they look. Because that's what they do. That's what people will do. They'll look right into my living room, or dining room, should I say. I keep saying that. And so we built this privacy fence. You can see it's on its own posts, 5-inch posts. And I will now go to show you, I think there was one last piece to this before I finish it up. From the inside of my house, I believe I've got a picture from the inside of my home. And then I can take any, yeah, here it is from my dining room.
It's perfect.
And so that's what I look out at. Now, I should say also that when this building was built, you know, I used to have the sun and the sky. I don't have that anymore. I've already sacrificed everything for this building. And it's to me, it's like, as I said, I've sacrificed the natural light from the sky. I can't see it because of this high-rise monstrosity. And so I appeal to you to grant my fence exemption. And that's all I have for you, and thank you for listening.
Thank you. Are there questions of the speaker? I have one really quick one. The door on the other side, is there a window in it? The door. It looks solid.
It's a solid, the door on the other side, the neighbor's door?
Yeah.
There is no window in it.
Just solid door. Okay. Do you know, is this here as a result of a complaint? How did the application get?
I believe, well, I believe my neighbor has complained about various things, but it's also an enforcement issue where the enforcement people have said, you're in breach. Yep. And I do have I do have an enforcement notice of some kind.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Nope. Okay. Question? No, okay, hang on here. I just want to get this clear for my colleagues. Questions of the speaker. Are there any questions of the speaker? I do not see any. Okay. Questions of staff? No questions of staff? Okay. Members wishing to speak? Deputy Mayor Morley.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you, I want to say thank you to you, Mr. Murphy, for taking the time to join us today and for being in touch with my office on this issue. You've stated your case very well, and I see that the intervention that you've made with this fence plays a very specific purpose. It is well built, it is well maintained, and it is very clearly to support and underscore your privacy in your home since the redevelopment of this property. I think that's a fair and appropriate thing to do, and I will today be moving an exemption for your fence there at the address. I'll just ask the clerk to put that on the screen for the benefit of my colleagues and anyone watching. As usual, it will have a provision that in the future, should any replacement of a fence take place, that it will need to comply with Municipal Code Chapter 447 over fences or its successor bylaw. But I do think, as you say, a lot has been given to support a significant redevelopment next door, and I do think that your privacy is something you absolutely should be able to maintain, and I'm happy to support that here today. So that's the motion before my colleagues, and again, with thanks to you for taking the time to prepare your presentation and for joining us today. I'll turn it to you, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other members wishing to speak? Seeing none, on the amendment by Deputy Mayor Morley to grant the exemption. All those in favor? Any opposed? That carries. Thank you.
Thank you very much,
is complete.
Mr. Chair and everyone.
Our next item is EY 28.7, an application for a clothing drop box location permit located at 2799 Weston Road. Councilor Prutza.
So, Mr. Chair, on that one there, I'm moving the recommendation 1 in the staff report.
So for clarity, recommendation number 1 is to deny the application for the clothing drop box. All those in favor? Any opposed? That carries. Our next item is 28.14, Whitfield Avenue and Emily Avenue, always stop control. Councilor Prutza.
Yeah, Mr. Chair. On that one, I'm moving, I believe the clerk has the motion that the always stop sign at Emily and Whitfield be approved. Mr. Chair, this is a very unique situation. I don't often like cluttering up streets and so on, but there's a school there right at the corner, and as you know now, with kids being dropped off at school the way they're dropped off, it just better regulates the intersection. Our staff have been out there and they've seen it, and I believe that while the warrants aren't specifically met here, I don't think that anybody would disagree that that a better regulated intersection there would go a long way to providing a much safer situation for all the kids attending the school abutting this intersection. So.
All those in favor?
Venerable John Marlini Catholic School is right there.
So all of those in favor of the alternate recommendation? Any opposed? That carries. Our next item is the bills. Those are all other items of business have been dealt with, correct, Madam Clerk? Yes, I get a yes. May I have a volunteer for the first motion? Any volunteers? Councillor Nunziata.
Okay, that bills 1 to 6 prepared for the January 6, 2026 meeting 28 of the Etobicoke York Community Council be declared as bylaws and passed subject to section 226.9 of the City of Toronto Act.
All those in favor? Any opposed? That carries. Our next motion. We have a volunteer.
Do you want me to?
Go.
Yeah, happy to do that.
Okay.
Councillor Prutza.
That confirmatory bills to confirm the legislative proceedings of the Etobicoke York Community Council acting under delegated authority at meeting 28 on January 6, 2026 be declared as bylaws and passed subject to section 226.9 of the City of Toronto Act.
All those in favor? Any opposed? That carries. And that was our last item of business. Meeting adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to everyone.